I'm Jose Yáñez, and I've been working in the telco industry for more than 20 years in different companies, both providers and operators. I work for Telefónica Global Solutions in the marketing department, and I'm in charge of different roaming solutions, including solutions enabling IoT roaming for MVNOs, like Global Connect Hub. You know, there is a growing and exciting opportunity in the roaming IoT ecosystem that MVNOs should address. First of all, market growth. Cellular IoT devices yearly increase at 2 figures rate. More than 5 billion cellular IoT connections are expected by 2027 and being predicted by the different analysts. Then, market revenues. Global IoT connectivity revenues increased more than 20% during 2022. And it represents one of the technology ecosystems that are showing a bigger revenue increment on a yearly basis. Third, big industry sectors demands of a tailored IoT connectivity proposal. Transport logistics, manufacturing industry, smart cities, healthcare, and energy and utilities, well, they are the key pillars of this growing demand. Then, multi-regional IoT connectivity demand is growing and is becoming really a good opportunity. Step by step, the different IoT solutions requires of this global connectivity. Also, step by step, it is becoming a commodity for the IoT devices to incorporate cellular connectivity as one of the built-in features or expected features of the different plethora of devices. Of course, together with the opportunities, there are associated challenges for an MVNO. And the MVNO, you know, in order to provide this roaming IoT comparing proposal, first of all, end customers are demanding a powerful and usually worldwide and very flexible network connectivity. Then connectivity price has to be competitive, also competitive in all different regions and possible destinations. Roaming market tariffs are based on roaming traffic trading, and MVNO needs of an MNO partner to provide, or provider, in order to access and, you know, being able to provide to end customer competitive roaming rates. Typically, the roaming enabling technologies being used are, first of all, IoT managed connectivity, and secondly, sponsor roaming or multi-IMSI technologies. Also, proposals should be very flexible and also integrated into the MVNO core network or VSS systems as soon as, you know, as possible. Also, the MVNO need to address different use cases, being low power wireless access use cases, being high throughput, being consumer, being IoT, etc. Then they should provide a stable and long-term proposal, and they should avoid network access shock, where the MVNO is suddenly losing the access, or even the access cost is highly incremented suddenly. Then there are new technology needs like VoLTE, LP1, LTE Narrowband IoT, 5G being standalone or non-standalone, and all these technologies shall be somehow addressed. Also, these proposals are evolved, covering new needs and supporting long-term use cases because, you know, customer demands and expectations are becoming more sophisticated. Then, you know, in order to provide a simple proposal or to being able to easily manage the proposal, then few roaming connectivity in any MNO partners should be part of the solution. And of course, you know, these are the basic, some key challenges for an MVNO when providing roaming IoT connectivity. But associated to them, there are other particular IoT connectivity challenges that shall be transformed into opportunities. For example, some use cases demands a very high quality of service. And in those cases, quality of service should be step by step being introduced in the different roaming legs. Needs to be monitored both through active testing as well as passive monitoring in order to quickly react to connectivity issues. Then other use cases are very sensitive to latency, and therefore local or regional data breakout is needed to have this latency under control. Then we have the issue of permanent roaming. Big proportion of these use cases requires of a permanent roaming. e-health, new mobility, connected car, transport and logistics, fleet management, etc. There are countries or destinations that apart from permanent roaming, there is a special regulation also to be accomplished in order to be an IoT provider. About the regulation, about the restriction, in some cases, it's the own regulator of the country who is imposing permanent roaming restriction. And then it forces the IoT provider to count on a local IMSI or a local access. In other cases, it is the own market or the biggest operators who are imposing access restriction. And therefore, you need to access to permanent roaming in those networks by a direct alliance with the network provider or by getting access through a third-party MVNO, having of course, a good roaming partnership or relationship with the destination network. First of all, we need to differentiate between the needs and challenges of low bandwidth and high bandwidth demanding devices. For the case of low bandwidth devices, there are some technological challenges. First of all, 2G and 3G were supported by step. These technologies has been changed or need to be changed to LP1 technologies. Let's say LTM and narrowband IoT should be supported. But not all countries currently support both technologies. Step by step, they are both introduced in the market, but depending on the destination, either LTM is supported, LTM CATM, or narrowband IoT is supported. According to the GSMA, there are like 137 networks supporting narrowband IoT, while there are like 115 networks supporting LTM. Let's say that both technologies are somehow balanced from the timing in support. And for this kind of low bandwidth devices, of course, battery consumption management is key, and corresponding features should be accessible in destination network. Therefore, proper testings have been made to assure these devices can access to these new power management LP1 features. Apart from these technological challenges, there are also some other commercial challenges. The particular proposal for these low bandwidth devices shall be built, shall be constructed according to the particular use case needs. These active devices are generating low traffic, but still, demanding signaling and being active in the network. Therefore, a subscription model with a cap might be feasible, or depending on the use case, the MVNO need to elaborate a very particular proposal. Regarding high bandwidth devices, 4G shall be supported, while 5G NSA is starting to be supported in different countries. We have like more than 100 networks currently supporting 5G NSA roaming. And regarding 5G standalone, this is in an earlier stage. We expect having some initial commercial agreements by end of this year and by beginning of this next year, but we need to rely on 4G and 5G NSA from the timing. And then, of course, if good coverage is being required in a particular destination, then the MVNO should access to the different MNOs or the different networks, being available in that destination. But again, for these high bandwidth devices, a specific commercial model or the different commercial model need to be prepared for these, let's say, high consumption devices where the fixed costs of revenues are becoming less important than traffic or associated traffic, revenue, and cost. And in the third place, we have the BCE introduction that is enabling, or somehow helping both or to construct or tailor a commercial proposal. This is in a very early stage. It will allow a retail model rather than a wholesale model, and it allows to differentiate pricing according to monthly consumption or volume consumption. This should be taken into account, but again, this is in an early stage. Therefore, the MVNO should rely on other means to provide or to differentiate between low bandwidth and high bandwidth demanding devices. An MVNO IoT connectivity provider needs to provide a compelling solution with a global coverage in most of the cases. There are particular challenges on providing a roaming IoT global connectivity solution and also associated, of course, to the end customer needs. First of all, infrastructure. Some use cases require a reduced latency, as we mentioned, and this would require the peak gateways are next to the roamer or next to the destination networks. Therefore, the peak gateways deployment policy needs to be carefully analyzed. Then, intelligent distribution of traffic is required, and this can be based on, for example, control user plane decoupling technologies, based on GTP proxies or typically GTP proxy or GTP routers technologies or components, in order to address the proper peak gateways, again, based on MVNO policies. And then, of course, if IPX-ERX connectivity, is next to the destination, then the latency will be reduced. Therefore, the peerings with the destination networks or with the providers need to be carefully analyzed by the MVNOs. Apart from infrastructure, there are some legal requirements. It might be the case that there is a specific local regulation that requires, for example, that internet traffic is terminated in the destination, as well as sensitive data remains in this, let's say, restricted area, like it can be the European Union. There are also some other local regulations that need to be addressed, and that in some cases requires of a local entity in the destination, being in the destination network and destination country. Then permanent roaming, as we mentioned, permanent roaming shall be supported, and this is being required for many different use cases. The permanent roaming can be enabled through either a specific MNO agreement in case the destination network is imposing restriction to its partners, or through a local access in those cases where there is a specific country-specific regulation limitation. Also, what we are seeing in the market is that in order to complement this global connectivity need, step by step, we are seeing in the market that different satellite providers are complementing this cellular connectivity. The integration of non-terrestrial networks with 5G networks are ensuring ground users get mobility services through satellite constellations in remote areas. This satellite direct-to-device technology is step by step being supported by different satellite providers, being low orbit or geostationary, orbits. And this technology is being recently introduced and enables the same cellular device can connect to satellite services, of course, to the cellular services, but through a built-in chipset that is implementing the new standard, but is from the same, again, in the same device. It is complementing existing cellular connectivity with a full worldwide coverage, but in this case, we are seeing that we are in an earlier stage of this technology. We are in the prospecting phase. The MVNO should take into account the different MNOs are signing partnerships and trials with the different satellite providers. And, in some cases, the satellite providers is having either a local partnership where it's reusing part of the cellular operator spectrum. And in this case, they are providing like a country-based coverage. While in the other cases, these satellite providers are providing a global coverage through their own spectrum. But in the end, it is connected to a cellular core network, enabling that from the same devices, the end user can access both satellite and cellular connectivity, or non-terrestrial and cellular connectivity. Telefónica Global Solutions is the wholesale carrier of the Telefónica Group, and we provide a single ecosystem for roaming and carrier services. We could provide a complete roaming portfolio, and we cover a range of use cases with one contract on one single connection. TGS is responsible for enabling all roaming services to each operator of the Telefónica Group and third-party customers, and we manage all roaming agreements with roaming partners on behalf of all these customers, supporting more than 200 million roamings a year. We manage more than 1,500 customers, and we really understand MVNOs' difficulties and concerns. We can provide more than 700 international roaming agreements in over 170 countries. As a global carrier, TGS has agreement with all tier one carriers in the market, and we have 12 operative business in America and Europe. Regarding roaming services, we provide both IPX and signaling and data roaming connectivity services. We provide service opening. We provide trading and account management, roaming value-added services. We provide operation and quality services together with clearing services, as well as we enable MVNO cellular connectivity, that is include roaming IoT, the topic that we were discussing today, through either our IoT managed services product or through our Global Connect Hub. Through our Global Connect Hub, which is based on a multi-IMSI solution, an MVNO can benefit not only from Telefónica roaming partnership agreement, based of course on the competitiveness and long presence we have in the roaming market, but also to other tier one carriers having an excellent roaming and local access competitiveness. We can directly connect to MVNO core network and deliver all the roaming traffic where the MVNO can make use of their existing DSS OSS system. We understand roaming is about partnership, and that's why we are associating with very powerful IMSI donors to complement our existing IoT roaming enabling solution. Through our Global Connect Hub, the MVNO will sign one single agreement to rule them all. We are attending the MVNO Live Nation, so we expect to meet you there, and we can discuss more about these interesting topics and these interesting opportunities that MVNOs should address.